top, man, shit. Make sure you let these niggas know what time it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Get on this motherfucker. Let these niggas know what time it is, you understand? We royalty, nigga.
King Ty really one of the realest. I survived drive-bys from them killers. Like I got 9 lives, I got 9 wives. I said fine wine with them bitches. I'm spitting fire bombs in your city. I got like 8 or 9 niggas with me. And we all ready to die in a minute. One West, we the best in the business. I get offended, I fuck niggas spend it. Talking they get it, but niggas is timid. Rappers is softer than linen. Catch me out parking lot pimping. What more could I give them? I've been the hottest forever. Why would I lie about cheddar? I could do better. I just put loyalty first. Royalty coming whenever. Pull off in the Jetta. Curvy, she on me, you sweater. My feel like wearing a sweater in summertime weather. Haters so salty, no pepper. You not that seasoned or clever. I'm with the rebel. Used to pump bass with the treble. Baking a cake in a kettle. I used to cook up the work. Now I just cook with the metal. Gotta keep foot to the pedal. Yeah, let me give it gas on the highway. Let the music blast on a calm day. Break the Glock down into 3 parts. Put the three together like my Najee. Sippin' Bombay with my enclave. Got my mind made. Ain't no time waste. No. Eating prime steak with a fine date at a fine place. Getting violated.
Hey, listen. Already told me, niggas. You understand? I call up King Ty. He say, what's up? I say, what's good, my lord? Listen, he like, listen. These niggas ain't ready for none of this. You understand? I said, listen, if the nigga ain't one West, he ain't got it on his arm or his chest. I don't give a fuck about the nigga. It's just me and my niggas. We royalty, yeah.
I got the hammer, you running, man. Come through your window like rubber man. Snapping your neck like a rubber band. Talk to my dog like the sun is saying. He told me murder you rappers. Uppercut sending you vertical actors. Y'all got me coming with verbal attackers. I might attack you type physical too. So y'all be rhyming the way y'all be shining. I'm blinding these rappers like Mr. Magoo. These haters miserable, we indivisible. Look at these haters like they got no clue. No clue. They hold up ones in them W's. Really, bro, don't get too comfortable. If you ain't cut from the cloth, co-signed by the boss, then we do not fuck with you. Cause you wouldn't last here. I told you the same shit last year.
Already told.
Keep talking that trash, I have a car, come kick your ass
you
here.
Already know.
Your jaw like glassware. We pull up, not rocking no mask there. Don't care if you spot us, you know how you got us. It's over, you saying your last prayer.
Test 1, 2. 2, 2, 2. 2. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. The Lord said, profession good for the soul.
All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. And shot call to be known with them niggas letting shots off. Either that or the right hand to the top dog. Funny how we see vanity, not the lives lost. Can't be focused on a life that's hopeless. Out there pumping, not knowing the Lord will kill you for that hocus pocus. Used to roll with niggas that cook dope with weaponry. Same ones claim they love you. I had no life in jeopardy. And I know my mother wants success for me. But that G should take a girl straight to ecstasy. Remember running with bruh, even though we did the wrong thing. My life would've been a lot different if I fell up under Rob's wing. Was too sincere for a wicked game. Shame the Lord's name. Now we afflicted with pain. All I ever wanted was to be respected by stand-up niggas. Not knowing that them handcuffs custom made the face. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. I ain't lying, I was close to dying. Knew I wanted to live, but I wasn't trying. I was defiant, not knowing that this ain't how we live. This just how they design it. Cause when you in them streets, you get more endemic. They don't tell you gonna be on papers and on restrictions. My father said a hard head'll make a soft ass. I did I got crowd on that fucking porch. The Lord said, my sheep, they ain't hear my voice. Ask me why I'm UPK, I told them I ain't have a choice. They said God ain't 50-50 and what's gonna come to pass. The Lord called me out the world and I started running fast. All I wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. It's UPK until it hit the fan. I want power and a throne, nigga, fuck them grams. All I wanted was to be a gangster, but I was real as a righteous man. And now got the upper hand, gotta promote this brand. Correct whole multitudes until they all understand. If I can't get that crown, Lord, then put me in the hands of someone more mighty, make me this hit man. Reminiscing on the pain that was felt. Shit, I was in the jam. Shit, I needed help. But Swan was locked up and the judge put man on the shelf. Had me crying cause it felt like I was left by myself. All I wanted was to impress niggas with my grinding. Now I ain't trying to prove shit to nobody but Muhammad. Cause most these niggas lying, pop smoke. One time for the most high, he made me a cutthroat. Cause all I ever wanted was to smash my opponents. Stacking cash, not knowing it wouldn't last. Then God, I hope you accept my atonement. Cause all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was a gangster. Decisions that I made before the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was a gangster. Decisions that I made before the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster.
All right. Shalom, Israel. You live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Priest and Captain Soccer will hold down the class live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes here in Memphis from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Since 1969, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been teaching so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2025, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on the earth. So what we like to do with these classes is give brothers and sisters an opportunity to go into this book called the Bible to gain the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that is placed inside of this book. You understand? So if you have any questions, you can ask them online, and we'll respond to them. If you got any questions in the classroom, you can raise your hand. You know what I'm saying? For all the brothers and sisters tuning in, if you got family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas, get them in contact with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. And we have services and programs that help the brothers and sisters get on their feet, come back, to being who the Most High called them to be, and to live a prosperous, righteous life. You understand? We're living in a very dangerous, trying time in society right now. There's a lot going on in the world, a lot that's going on here in America. There's a lot that's befallen brothers and sisters in these, small cities and small towns that is really going, unaddressed and unspoken of on a large scale. And now is the time for brothers and sisters to turn to the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge in order to really be able to get the help that they need. You know what I'm saying? If at no other time before, in our recent history, now is the time that we need brotherhood to prevail. You know what I'm saying? The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge stands on teaching the truth according to the Bible. And a big part of us understanding that truth is understanding that the greatest gift that Christ came and gave us was brotherhood. He taught us how to love one another, how to be there for each other, how to hold each other up in difficult times. And right now, if we can learn the lessons of brotherhood that the scriptures teaches us, then we can make sure that we are positioning ourselves to not only survive, but to prosper in these times that are to come. But our oppressor is determined to make it hard on us. Our oppressor is determined to ramp up their oppression, to ramp up their wickedness, to ramp up their evil, and to cause the poor and the needy and the people who are downtrodden and misfortunate, to devour one another. So if I don't have any questions in the class, we're going to go into the topic of today's class. What you see on the screen is Stranger Things. You understand? Stranger Things. Now, I know there's a show that's out right now by the same name. I'll maybe watch season 1 and 2 of Stranger Things on Netflix, and it's a show about, the entertainment aspect of it. Is about monsters in some other dimension, right? It's some type of government program, and they got some facility where they tapping into other, dimensions and stuff like that. And it's a fantasy type of thing. It's one kid, it's a group of kids in this neighborhood that live near this facility. And one of the kids, I believe, escapes from the place where they're dealing with all of these monsters and demons from other dimensions. And this one kid has powers and gifts to be able to fight, the monsters and keep them at bay. Right. But the reality of that show is, we break down all the entertainment aspect of it. It's really a show about monsters and innocent people, and how there are monsters that are, in a place trying to escape and trying to wreak havoc, trying to, cause pain and harm and unalive people and do all types of horrible things. And there's a force that's working to try and protect the innocent people that would be devoured. You know what I'm saying? And the reality is, in this society, the monsters and the things that are trying to devour the poor and to hurt the innocent people isn't in some other dimension and some science lab being concocted and channeled through, some supernatural means. The monsters are the rich people. The monsters and the people who harm children, the people who cause the poor to, be devoured, the people that cause for drugs to run rampant and poverty to be, such a horrible thing. They're the same people who have the ability to cause none of those things to happen. And the Bible warns us about the evil of oppression and about the evil of rich people who don't see the necessity of protecting and watching out for those who are less fortunate. So that's what we'll get into today. All right. Now, Ash Bagaramya does have a question. Officer Ash down here in Memphis, he says, Salaki, sir, can we teach that honoring your mother and father can also be keeping their family name good, like you're not bringing shame to their name? Yes, Ash, you can teach that. Yes, honoring your mother and father is taking care of them. You understand? Making sure that you repay them the gift of caring for them in their time of need, the way that they cared for you when you were young and coming into the earth. There was a time when you were a baby, you were completely dependent on your parents. You took care of them in that time. Well, honoring your mother and father is doing the same thing in their time of need, in their time of care. You understand? And brothers and sisters got to understand that honoring your mother and father doesn't mean that you just, our part of honoring your mother and father is making sure you take them to the doctors, making sure you get them to their appointments to get checked up, make sure they get prescribed medication. You get them to take their medication. If the medication ain't working or the levels ain't right, take them back to the doctor and keep working at whatever needs to happen so that they can be provided for and cared for in their later years. You understand? Honoring your mother and father does not mean you have to deal with a parent who is refusing to get help, refusing to go to the doctor, refusing to stop smoking, refusing to stop eating pork and doing horrible things. If you have a parent that is determined to just do whatever they want to do, then, honoring them is making sure that you help them get into a facility or a place where they can get the care that they receive. That they deserve, where they can get, be able to live that comfortable life that they want to live, doing whatever they want to do. But, honoring your mother and father doesn't mean you move them into your house and now you got to celebrate Christmas. You move into your house and now you got to keep Thanksgiving with that turkey because your mama love the turkey so much. She can live with you, but you send her down and she want to go do Thanksgiving. She got to go down to Auntie So-and-so's house. She want to do Christmas. She got to go over there and look at their tree. Don't let because you love your mama and your daddy, you take them in and let them bring sin and evil into your house. You understand? But also honoring your mother and father. So for a child, right? For a child, you got young children. They're not old enough to take care of you. That time hasn't come for them. They honor you by obeying you, doing what you told them to do. You understand? By not bringing shame to your name, by being your son can honor you by being a younger version of you. Let me get you a scripture on that. There's a scripture that says when a man's enemies see his son, you understand, they are so afraid. Let me see that. It might be in the Apocrypha. Matter of fact, I believe it is in the Apocrypha. Let me see if I can pull it up right quick. This scripture is heavy for sure. Hold on. Let's see if I got it on here. That's not it. Let me see something. Boom. Boom. All right, hold on. Let's see if we can pull it up. Bear with me. Hold on. Let's get Ecclesiasticus chapter 3. All right. Okay. All right. Hold up. All right. All right. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, okay. Hold on. Man, let's get on. All right. So let's get Ecclesiasticus chapter 3. All right. To answer this question that Ash asked. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. We're going to start at chapter 3. All right. Ecclesiasticus. For those of you that don't know, the Apocrypha are the 14 books that exist between the book of Malachi and the book of Matthew. So it's the books that were in between the Old and New Testaments. They were removed from the King James Bible during the Protestant Reformation in about the 1760s. The reason why these books were removed is because the Protestants at that time were trying to convert so-called African Americans and Native Americans to the religion of Christianity. But contained in the Apocrypha is the story of the Israelites in their fight to remain independent against the so-called Greeks and the Romans. And if these people who had been conquered and enslaved by Europeans in America were able to read the apocryphal account of the children of Israel fighting against the Greeks and the Romans and the Maccabees, then they would have been able to look and say, well, the same thing that happened to these people in this book is what happened to us. The same way our culture and our heritage and our names were taken from us and were made illegal, that's what happened to the people in this book. So the Protestants, in trying to push their religion of Christianity, removed the Apocrypha out of the King James Bible so that that history of fighting against oppression and rebelling and overcoming, rebelling and overtaking and overthrowing a colonizer wouldn't be present. All right, so in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we go into the 1611 King James Bible, the authorized version that was translated by the Hebrew scholars and the Greek scholars from the Old and New Testament, and included in that is the Apocrypha, all right? So again, this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 3, and starting at verse 1. It says, "Hear me, your father, O children, and do thereafter that ye may be safe." So listen to what I'm telling you, and do this so that you can be safe. "For the Lord has given the father honor over the children, and has confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons. Whoso honoreth his father maketh an atonement for sins." You make an atonement for sins for honoring your father. You understand? And he that honoreth his mother is as one that layeth up treasure. Whoso honors his father shall have joy of his own children, and when he maketh his prayer, he shall be heard. He that honors his father shall have a long life, and he that is obedient unto the Lord shall be a comfort to his mother. He that fears the Lord will honor his father, and will do service unto his parents as to his masters. Honor thy father and mother both in word and deed, that a blessing may come upon thee from them. For the blessing of the father establishes the houses of children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations. Glory not in the dishonor of thy father, for thy father's dishonor is no glory unto thee. For the glory of a man is from the honor of his father, and a mother in dishonor is a reproach to the children. My son, help thy father in his age, and grieve him not as long as he liveth. And if his understanding fail, have patience with him, and despise him not when thou art in thy full strength. For the relieving of the father shall not be forgotten, and instead of sins it shall be added to build thee up. In the day of thine affliction it shall be remembered, thy sins also shall melt away as the ice in the fair warm weather. He that forsaketh his father is as a blasphemer, and he that angereth his mother is cursed of God. All right. We could drop that. All right. So honoring your mother and your father in your younger years is paying homage to what they taught you. Honor your father by being, upstanding man, by doing what he told you to do. You know what I'm saying? By being someone that he could be proud of. You understand? You maintain his name and his reputation. And let's say you got a horrible father, a bad father. You honor him by not shaming him. Don't walk in his footsteps. Don't be a horrible person just because he's a horrible person. Don't be evil and don't be evil because he's evil. You should look at him and say, man, I want to be better than that. And that's the reality. A lot of us black men in this generation, we are who we are in spite of our fathers. We saw the life our fathers lived. A lot of us had dishonorable mothers. You read it here, it talks about a dishonorable mother is a reproach to the children. A lot of us found the truth, and we are who we are in spite of our parents. But do not hesitate to be remiss that the Lord gave you those parents so that you could become who you are in the truth. There's so many people out there that got good, wonderful parents that cared for them and loved them and made sure that they knew everything they needed to know. And they in the Christian church, smacking a tambourine, making six figures, but they the evil, most diabolical people on the planet. Your mother was an alcoholic. Your father was a drug dealer and an abuser. And through it, you learned what not to be. The Lord used your parents to show you what not to be. And now that you're older, don't resent your father and hate him. Thank the Lord that he put him in your life so that you would know what not to be. Now you can be a father to your children and show them the opposite of what your father showed you. Your children will live a good life because of how horrible your father was. That's you honoring your father. You don't follow in his footsteps and be an alcoholic and a drug addict and beat your woman. He went upside your mother's head. You grow up and you do the same thing to your woman. Don't do that, man. You understand? Honor your father by being better than he was. That's what he would have wanted. A lot of brothers, a lot of men. I myself came from a single mother and did not know until I came into the truth just how limited I was in my understanding of manhood and of life because of how coddled I was by my mother. Not necessarily coddled, hell. My mother did more, disciplining me than she did hugs and kisses and love. But there still were certain things that I could not learn because all I had was my mother. Coming into the truth, man, I learned from men how to be a man. And then in the process of time, my relationship with my father, I've never been angry at my dad or not loved him because he wasn't there. I understood because of who my mother was. But being in the truth and serving the Lord, and now I have a daughter and I'm raising her. I honor my father by being everything that a man needs to be in a child's life. How do I know what a child needs in their life? Because I know what I didn't have, not having a father there. Everybody understands, all right? I said, "Come to water, no sweat, most high in Christ." You understand? So you brothers out there, you got young children. Make sure your children understand that the way they honor you is by obeying you, doing what you said to do, and being a good example of being a what's that word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? When somebody is a they're a representation of you. You want your kids to be a good representation. You understand? I'm trying to find the enemy scripture. Bear with me. It's one of them. It's a scripture that says something about a grievous enemies. Enemies. Let me see if I can find it all, y'all. If anybody know it, type it in the chat. There's a scripture in the Apocrypha that talks about when a son follows his father, he grieves his enemies, man. He grieves his enemy. Grieve enemy. Grieve my heart. Never trust an enemy. No, a friend, no. Okay. Ecclesiasticus 30. Let's get Ecclesiasticus 30. This is the one I was looking for. All right. You're going to need this one too, all right? Ecclesiasticus 30. All right. Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, verse 1. All right. Here we go. Boom. This is all right. This is heavy. We're gonna get Ecclesiasticus 30. We're gonna start at verse 1 and read down to verse 7. All right. All right. Ecclesiasticus 30 and 1. He that loveth his son causeth him often to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. What does that mean? You got to discipline them kids, man. You got to check them. You got to put your foot in their behind. I know sometimes it's hard and you want to let them play and be kids, but they got to learn the realities of life from you. As a father, you got to be a disciplinarian, man. You got to be hard on them. You got to check them. Why? Because that's if you care about a child, you check them. If you care about a child, man, you'll make sure you stay on top of them and always critiquing them and what you got going on, what you doing over there, why you standing like that, why you walking like that. I remember when I was young, I thank the Lord for my uncles, man. I had some, my uncles were all boxers. They was athletes and in the gym and all the time. I was just some little soft punk kid, man. And I was smart and could talk real well. And man, I had some mannerisms and some ways about me that was, you could tell I was raised around a bunch of women. But man, I thank the Lord for having my uncles around when I was young. I never forget, I was a kid. When I used to go outside and play, we playing, get tired. I used to put my hands, you put your hands on your hips like a man. Like, I used to do the shit backwards. I used to put my hands on the shit like this. I used to stand there and breathing hard. My uncle, man, one uncle seen me do that shit, man, punched me in my chest. Bow. I'm crying and saying, why you do that? Man, don't you ever stand like that. What's wrong with you, boy? Put your hands on your hips like a man. The hell you bending your back and all, putting your hands in. The hell wrong with you? Don't you stand like that. Don't no man stand like that. I cried and, didn't understand, but I never stood like that again. You understand? It's little stuff like that. I was the type of cat, I used to get mad and cry, right? Playing the video games when I was young. Uncles beating me in the double dribble or, the damn Tecmo ball. I get to crying. They used to laugh at me. My mother come in there. What y'all doing to this boy? He's like, nah, leave him alone. He want to play the game. He going to lose. Let him cry. I used to cry on them video games till I got good enough to where nobody could beat me. That's why I'm still a man in Madden today. Because you ain't going to beat me in no video game. You understand? But because of them teaching me what they taught me and causing me to deal with those emotions and cry, you going to cry, so what? But what they also taught me was you never let nobody see you cry. Outside this house, we family. You crying here, we laugh and joke, but outside, you don't let nobody see you cry. You let somebody know that you soft or you weak or something make you emotional, and they're gonna use that against you. I used to get mad when I fought. I would cry in a fight. You know what I'm saying? Tears running down my face. I'm angry trying to fight. going to the gym. My uncles got me going to that gym, got me training with them boxing, and I understood and learned how to you process emotion and deal with it. You don't just all wear it on your sleeve. You know what I'm saying? Those are the lessons that a father has to teach a child. Those are the lessons that an uncle got to teach a nephew. You got young men in your life, man. You make sure that you chastise them, because it's that chastisement that's going to strengthen them and make them better. You understand? Let's keep on reading. This is Ecclesiastes 30:2. He that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. Some of you never discipline your kids. That's why so many of these young boys is LGBTQ. So many of these young boys is, catching bodies and doing horrible crimes, because nobody, when they in their younger years, cared enough about them to watch over them, to check them, to correct them about their behaviors. So they go out here in the world thinking they can just do whatever they want to do and be whoever they want to be, and end up in positions where they got to commit a crime or do something horribly violent in order to, for in their mind to stake their reputation or to, be a man, when really it's because they're emotional and afraid that they're doing some of the horrible things they're doing. You understand? Verse 3, he that teacheth his son grieves the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. You understand? A man that teaches his son grieves his enemy. And who is our enemy? We know who our enemy is, man. Our enemy is the powers that be. Our enemy is the oppressor in this nation. And what does that oppressor want? He wants for us, our children, to fall into a trap. He wants for our children to fall into the same hole that many of us fell into in our adolescent years. Many of us seen brothers fall into in their younger years. I know what it's like to be 16, 17, 18. You understand? I remember the brothers that I lost in that time of my life, whether they went to prison, some of them died. Others, they just got too hot for them. They went and transformed themselves, moved to a new city, new neighborhood, started talking different. The only way that you're going to be able to have, enjoy your children and rejoice in them is if you teach them when they're young, man. Give them the instruction they need so they can become a man that you can be proud of. I got a young daughter, man. She about 19 months. And being in the truth, I realized that I don't have a baby in my life. I have a young person who I'm responsible for molding. I'm responsible for teaching. Everything that she is and that she's going to become is going to be based off of what she's able to learn and see from me and her mother. So the way that I talk to her mother, the way that I talk to her, the way that I present myself, being here, teaching class and doing the things that I'm doing, I know that I'm molding in her mind what a man is supposed to be, how a man looks, how a man handles his business. The way that I love her and kiss her and talk to her and say things to, build up her confidence. I know that that's preparing her for the type of man that she's going to desire when she becomes older. You understand? The way that I discipline her and correct her when she's wrong, I have to do that now at 18 months, because by the time she's 3, 4, 5, it's too late. You understand? You got to start with your children when they're young. You got to teach these kids, man, when they, 5, 6, 7. By the time they're 11 and 12, man, it's too late. Ain't enough beatings that's going to change that boy. Not enough punches in the chest that's going to make him get right. You understand? You're dealing with a kid that's a little bit older. You entering into their life or coming back into their life. There's a certain way you got to deal with them that's different than when they was young. The Bible here, like the scripture say, train up a child when they're young, and when they get old, they will not depart from it. That's what the scripture is trying to drive home. You got to start with these kids when they're young and doing and imbuing discipline and focus and understanding what's expected and required of them, so that when they get older, they can be a child that you rejoice over and are proud of. All right. Again, Ecclesiastes 30:3. He that teacheth his son grieves the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he has left one behind that is like himself. While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him, and when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends. You understand? Like, imagine the greatest tool that you have to fight against the oppressor is raising children that are going to fight against the oppressor. Let that sink in for a second. It's 2025. We are in the truth of the Most High under command of General Yohana, obeying the Most High, coming back to his law, statutes, and commandments, doing the work necessary to establish the kingdom of heaven, for Christ to come back to a nation that is obeying the Lord, that is disciplined, that is taking back our culture. And the greatest tool that we have to ensure that this work is not in vain is to teach it to our children. What if there's a chance that Christ is not back in our lifetime? I don't like to think about it. I've been in the truth since 2010. I came in the truth, man. I was young. Like, I was 23, 24 years old. Man, fresh as hell, long hair, just full of life and youth. I've been in the truth 15 years. Like, my knees hurt. My knees hurt. I just went and bought a Velar board so I can stand the board up and do slanted goddamn squats and calf raises and different movements to keep my mobility. I got a daughter that's 18 months. It's rough getting down there and playing train on these goddamn knees. And back in my mind, I'm getting old. Damn. What's good, It could be another 15 years. Your house shine that back. I'm be, old man then. There's a possibility that I may not see the kingdom in my lifetime. Well, if that's the case, then what can I do to make sure that this life was lived well? What can I do to make sure that this work was not in vain? The Lord did not, choose me and wake me up and give me a chance to get my life right, and it was for nothing. I got to take what the Lord has given me, and I got to make sure that I leave a version of myself here to continue to fight. And that's really what these classes are about. That's really, the Bible is built on men thinking like that. The Bible is built on men thinking this thing we're living through is important, and it's going to help make sure that the next generation continues to stand with the Lord and continues to fight. So we're going to record it. We're going to write it down. You understand? The greatest gift a man can give is to take what the Lord has given him and pass it on down to his children, so that those children can stand in the same spirit and the same strength and the same knowledge and understanding. They can continue to make sure that righteousness persists. The gift of the Lord is not hereditary, meaning your children aren't born in the truth just because you in the truth. It's not in their DNA. You have to teach it to them. You have to show it to them. You have to be an example of what obeying the Lord looks like. The wisdom and the knowledge that you receive in the truth, you have to pass it on to your children. You got to become a priest in your home. You got to become a teacher in your home. You got to become a counselor to your wife, to your children. Why? So that as time goes on and your time fades away, it'll be as though you never left, because everything that was in you, you poured into the people that was around you, the people that you loved, and they can continue that spirit on. The way that we save our children is by teaching them, educating them, disciplining them, not being so caught up in our own lives that we forget that we're molding the lives of those that's coming behind us. And it's laid out right here in the Bible. You understand? Continuing on in Ecclesiasticus 30, this is verse 7. He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry. A horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful. You understand? What does that mean? He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds. You can't let your son be no soft punk. Don't let your son, he's Prince Button Soccer War. So he can't get bullied at school. Kids can't make fun of him. He can't deal with no difficulty or no challenges in life because he's a prince and a king and the world belongs to him. You better let that boy get some lumps. You better let him learn how to. They making fun of you, you go make fun back. Or they out there, somebody tried to take you. He took the basketball and they wouldn't let you play. You better go get your basketball back. You got to find a way to teach your children to go through that fire. You got to let your kids learn the hard way. Let them get a little tough. And there's a right way and a wrong way to go about it. You got young kids in your life and you're not sure how to guide them and lead them the right way. Get some counsel, man. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to call and say, Salakia, sir, I got this boy, this young man, my son, he's 6 years old. And the boys just get real angry, man, get mad and slam doors. And, my first instinct is go in there and whoop them. But, I don't know if that's going to help. How do I deal with them? You'll get some help. Some of you brothers, I have a daughter, and I feel like it's poetic justice from the Lord that he gave me a girl, because I know there's going to come a time where she's going to reach adolescence. She's going to go through becoming the process of becoming a woman, right? And when a young girl starts to become a woman, she starts to see things differently and experience the world differently, and she recognizes that men see her differently. I pray that when that time comes, I'm able to get the proper guidance on how to guide my daughter to becoming a wife and not a whore. I feel for some of you brothers in the school, you have daughters who are at that age going through that process. Brother, do not be ashamed to call the school and say, Salakia, my daughter 13 years old and she's feeling herself. She's starting to put on makeup, and I know them boys at that school are seeing her and she got a little bit of a body. How do I guide my daughter right on becoming a wife and not a whore? You too proud to call and get counsel on that, your young daughter is going to be a whore. You're going to be in the truth, serving the Lord, teaching your kids the truth, and your daughter going to be getting passed around in middle school. And it's going to be a horrible thing. It's going to hurt you as a father because you want to protect your little girl and you want to be there for her. But she got her own life. Call and get counsel before your daughter becomes a whore. You understand? So you can know how to father her to be a wife and not settle for the feelings and the emotions she has being young, going through puberty, going through adolescence. Some of you brothers got sons out there. You got sons and you're raising them up to be strong and smart, and you want to preserve your son. You want your son to not make the mistakes that you made when you was younger. Call and get counsel on how to guide your 13, 14-year-old son on how to not just be out here laying pipe in a lot of cats' daughters, man. Spare your son the horrible lesson of going through a whole phase. You might not know how to guide your son through being in school and being around girls and not having sex. Yeah, that wasn't your life. I know I'm gonna need help. I was horrible in my adolescent years. I went through too much at a young age in terms of understanding sex and knowing what to do and where to go. And I'm gonna need help. You gotta call and get counsel. Don't be ashamed of not knowing what to do as a parent. Don't be ashamed of not knowing what to tell your daughter at a young age to stop her from being a whore. Don't be ashamed of not knowing what to tell your son to stop him from being a player and running through a bunch of young girls when he's young. Call and get counsel, man. Get some help. Or you'll watch as your children, live their life based on what it was that you did or didn't teach them. Me personally, I want to enjoy my daughter, man. I pray the Lord every day. I watch over this little girl, but I know, hell, she got her daddy in her. So she's smart and attentive and aware. And there's going to be some things that I got to watch out for as she grows into a woman. And I want to be able to enjoy my daughter, be proud of her and give her away to a man. So I'm going to need some counsel. I'm going to need some help. How do I teach her this? How do I show her that? At what age do I start to warn her about this or prepare her that one day she's going to be somebody's wife and she should want to be like her mother and have a man that's with her and love her like she sees daddy with mommy. Those conversations, you may not have those words. Get counsel. There's men in this school. I've watched, General Muhammad raise sons and daughters. I watched General Haas raise sons and daughters. You understand? I watched, General Shawarma and I'm Captain Mashak and these brothers. There's brothers who I know I can go and talk to about how to deal with a young girl properly so that she raises up to have honor and dignity and pride in herself and isn't just fast. You understand? And there's other brothers that I've been able to witness and watch, and you can, Lord be with them. You understand? But you can't be too proud to get the help that you need, so that you don't do what this scripture says to do, which is make too much of your children, so that you don't allow them to learn the lessons and the hardships of, so that they go through in society, so they can become people of strong character. You understand? This is Ecclesiastes 30:8. Again, it says, a horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful. You got to break a horse. You don't break the horse is never going to follow your instructions. It's never going to let you ride, to the township. That horse is going to do whatever. When it gets tired and don't feel like being bothered, that horse is going to buck and throw you off. Well, that's the same thing with a child that's left to himself. You cannot leave a child to himself. Even if you got a good child, you still got to discipline them. You still got to correct them. You still got to chastise them. And they're not going to like it. They're going to cry and they're going to be upset. Guess what? You can't spoil them. Literally, you don't teach a child. You don't check a child. You spoil them. What does it mean to spoil something? You ruin it. Don't ruin your children by being afraid of being too hard on them. Everybody understands? Again, some of you might not know what it means to break a horse. The process of breaking a horse does not involve beating it all the time. You don't beat a horse to break it. You got to just teach it. It's like breaking a dog. You teach a dog and train a dog. You ain't got to do a bunch of smacking and punching and rubbing the face and doo-doo. You may not know how to break your child. Get counsel. How do I teach this boy discipline? How do I show him that I'm the one in charge? Hell, some of you men, what you got to do is you got to prepare for the time your son get to be 14, 15 and think he's stronger than you. You better get in that gym up. That's why I got this Velo board. I'm getting these knees right. I'm getting this big body on this slanted board and strengthening this calf and these shins and these quad muscles so these knees can be strong. So one day, my daughter want to race or something, I'm going to be able to beat her down the block. Might be different with a girl. She may never want to challenge her daddy. But you brothers with sons, best believe the day is coming where your son going to raise up. And you better be ready to put him down. Or you better be ready to make him think twice about raising up. You understand? You got to be prepared for it. Everybody understands. But if you don't know how to break a child, get some counsel. All right, Ecclesiastes 30:9. Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness. You understand? What does it mean to conquer thy child? Let's go ahead and get the definition of that word, conquer. All right, it's an old English word, but it's important to understand so that you know what not to do with your children, all right? Bear with me. All right, to conquer means to indulge or pamper. Everybody understands. Do not pamper your children. Do not spoil them, give them everything they want, and make them believe that the world owes them something. You understand? Teach your children the value of earning and being rewarded. Teach them that you do right, you receive good. You do wrong, you don't receive good. You understand? But don't pamper your children just because you got it. Just because you got the money don't mean they're supposed to get everything they want. Establish, parameters and give your children things to aspire to. That's why when you have a household that's structured, you give kids chores, you give them a little stipend, give them what's that called? Allowance money for doing what they're supposed to do, and teach them the value of hard work pays off. You just giving your kids whatever they want because they deserve it. They're going to grow up thinking the world owes them something. You understand? Again, Ecclesiastes 30:9 says, conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. You spoil a child when they grow up, then they're going to make you afraid because, damn, this kid don't know how life really works. This kid think that they owe something, that the world's supposed to just give them everything they want. There's a lot of talk about, Generation Z and these young kids growing up thinking that the world owed them something. That's because so many of us grew up not having nothing. We worked hard to give our kids everything. You worked hard to give your kids everything. Now the kids don't know the value of struggle. The kids don't know what it's like to go without a good Christmas. Don't know what it's like to go, without the high-speed internet. Lord be with you. I thank the Most High that my mother made sure that I understood nothing is owed to you. Anything you get, you got to work for. And if you put in the work, you can have whatever you want, but you got to work for it. I'm going to keep it to myself. But you don't spoil a child, man. You'll ruin them. You'll be afraid because you're going to send them out into the world knowing, man, they're not prepared. And some young people in my life now that's getting ready to go to college. The Lord allow. They want to go to college so bad, and they've been pampered their whole life. Little girls been just spoiled and everything given to them. And everybody is worried that these kids going to get to college and life going to hit them and they're not going to know what to do. They're not going to understand, eating oodles and noodles every night. They're not going to understand, making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich 3 nights out of the week. They're not going to understand, washing their own clothes. And it's everybody worried. Lord be with them. Because 17 is not the time to worry about a child not knowing how to, do dishes and fold clothes and live off of, bread and hot water and noodles. You're supposed to teach that to them kids when they was young. I mean, we grew up, my mother worked so much, we had to learn how to cook. I remember till I was about 11 years old, and I used to microwave eggs. I used to love me some eggs. I wanted eggs in the morning and I was not able to cook on the stove. My mother would not let me cook on the stove. So when I got up in the morning, nigga, I would take 2 eggs and crack them, put them in a bowl, stir them up in a bowl, put my salt and my pepper on the eggs, put them holes in a microwave, nigga. Brother. I used to eat microwave eggs with some microwave turkey sausage or some microwave bacon with 2 waffles. And then I became a man and understood that, eggs in a microwave is not the way to go. But I'm thankful for that time of eggs in the microwave because it taught me how to, you struggle and get through some stuff. You understand? I remember I went one year I went to California to visit an aunt. My aunt was living in the projects. And, I grew up, like I said, we had a decent living, right? Man, my aunt was making grilled cheese sandwiches with an iron on an ironing board. Wasn't no toaster. Take that goddamn bread and put the shirt down, put the iron over top of the shirt, iron the damn bread, get it hot, put the cheese down. It was the big block government cheese. I had never, my mother she had Wick. We used to get cheese, but it wasn't that government cheese. Cut that thick ass cheese, man, put it on the what's the name, press that thing down, and eat this, boy. Them grilled cheese sandwiches at my aunt's house in the summertime out there in Cali made me say, I understand struggle. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to eat my kids eating like this. Made me get right. Salakia. Don't spoil your kids, man. You'll make them think the world owes them something. And you know what? I look back now. I don't know if this was on purpose, but I think my mama and them sent me out there so that I could learn that life don't owe you nothing. There's people out here that's living a life that you couldn't imagine. You got to be thankful and appreciative of what the Lord has given you. I think sending me to Cali was like, yeah, go to your cousins in the hood. That's what that was. And I thank my mother for sending me out there with my cousins and them in the hood because it made me appreciate that good suburb life I was living. Now, again, I wasn't a silver spoon fed. It was ratchet where I was living at, but it made me appreciate what we did have. You know what I'm saying? Man, I remember, man, I learned all kind of snacks that summer. Aunt used to take Ritz crackers, packet of Ritz crackers, cut the cheese up, put ranch in a bowl, and then take the cheese and put it between the crackers and dip it in the ranch. That was our snack. Come and get y'all some of these crackers and cheese. Aunt she had that big giant block of cheese cut down. She had a bunch of little squares of cheese and laid out the crackers and put the ranch was in a bowl. Me and my cousin, he showed me take 2 crackers, put a piece of cheese on there, dip it, boom, bite it. And I eat it. Like, that's good, ain't it? I'm like, yeah, man, it's good. Went back home to eat crackers and cheese and was like, what the hell are you eating? Like, that's what Vicky and them had me out there. I think my mom and them knew how my aunt was living based on the snacks I came back cooking. I was happy to come back and tell them about how I had, grilled cheese with a damn iron on the ironing board. I don't think I was supposed to tell them that. I don't think Vicky wanted them to know that that's what he was eating. I come back home and eat the Ritz crackers with the cheese and the ranch. I don't think that I was supposed to come back and show everybody that that's how they was living. But that's what it was. And because of it, it made me, it instilled in me, understanding that, man, life doesn't owe you anything. And there are people out here who are happy getting by with nothing. So who are you to complain about your goddamn Pop-Tarts and your Eggo waffles and your damn microwave eggs? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to make sure your kids understand that they are not entitled to anything. And whatever you get in life, you got to work for it and you got to earn it. And if you don't do that, if you cocker them, if you spoil them, if you pamper them, then they're going to make you afraid. You understand? Ecclesiastes 30:9, middle of the verse, play with him and he will bring thee to heaviness. Some of y'all play with your kids too much. I know too many women that have played with their daughters to where their daughters, get older and now they disrespect their mamas. Talk crazy to their mamas. Where does that come from? It come from that mama disrespecting and talking crazy to that baby when they was a kids. Don't be friends with your kids. Be their parent. Being their parent doesn't mean you can't be loving and supportive, but just you can't be their friend. There has to be an established hierarchy. There has to be some boundaries between parent and child. If you don't know how to establish those boundaries, come into school and get some counsel. Get some help. We'll help you understand how to establish boundaries. You understand? Verse 10. Verse 10. Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end. Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies. Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart. Chastise thy son and hold him to labor, lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto thee. You understand? The Bible teaches you the wisdom of disciplining your children, the wisdom of checking them when they're young and correcting them and staying on top of them. Not when you want to, not when you feel like it, not only when they do something wrong, but all the time. That's your responsibility. That's how you honor your children as a parent. You have to be a parent. And if you honor them when they're young and as their children and they're in their growth and development stage, when they become grown up, man, they will honor you. They will appreciate you for all that you did. You understand? My mother was a single mother, and she did not know what she was doing. But I'm thankful for what she did do because it's what helped me find the truth. You understand? My father was not there, and I understand why my father was not there. With my mother being the woman that she was. But I'm not mad or angry at my father because he wasn't there. I'm thankful for the time that he was there to put me inside of my mother. And so much of who I am and how I am, I get it from my father, even though I didn't know him till I was 19 years old. But because of the truth and because of understanding what I've been able to understand through the Bible, I honor them. You understand? By making sure that I live a life that brings honor to their name. And also, as they get older, I'm here to take care of them if they need it. My mother took care of me when I couldn't fend for myself. So when her time comes, if she allows it, I'll take care of her. She won't have nothing to worry about. And now, because of the experience that I had growing up without a father, now that I have children, I know what's important to teach them. I know ways that it's important to be present. You understand? I know what I missed out on not having a father, and that's going to inform me on what it is that I need to provide for my children. There are things that I know that I don't know how to handle or how to teach or how to guide a child properly with. That's what I'm going to need counsel for. I'm not going to be too prideful. I'm not going to be ashamed to call and get counsel and say, hey, I need help with this. How do I make sure that I'm teaching her this right? How do I make sure that I'm being a good example in this regard? At what age do I start to have these conversations about privacy and self-esteem and, you know, honoring yourself and all those things you call and you get help with? Whatever you don't understand, whatever you are unsure of, that's what the men of the Lord are here for. And it's necessary to put in that work and to overcome those insecurities that you have in yourself so that you can make sure that your children don't suffer from it. Everybody understands? All right. We could drop that. The water odds for the question too. It led us in a topic that I wasn't necessarily prepared for class, but I think it was definitely necessary. All right. See something? Hold on. We might just want to stay here in Ecclesiasticus chapter 30. All right, hold on. Bear with me. Yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to stay in Ecclesiasticus 30. I'm going to change the topic of the class after we get done. We'll do Stranger Things another time. We're going to stay here in Ecclesiasticus 30 because it transitions from talking about correcting your children and not indulging them to understanding the importance of health. And right now, especially with the wintertime coming up, you know, there's a lot of things to be on the lookout for. I'm just now getting recovered from, you know, being sick from the Houston cookout. Houston cookout was what, the end of October? I think 2-3 days ago, I just stopped coughing up phlegm from the sickness that I got when I was down there in Houston. So a whole 4 weeks I was sick. I'm talking about voice gone, every morning coughing up phlegm and, you know, congestion all in your chest and in my nose. And I'm just getting over it just in time as the super cold is starting to set in. Right now, I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. It's like 30 degrees outside on December 3rd. They're talking about coming to coming to the Northeast in the next few weeks is going to be a cold like there's never been felt on the earth before. There's a cold front coming into the Northeast that is so cold, the scientists are saying it's never been this cold before. And right now is the time that brothers and sisters need to be preparing for the winter. You need to make sure your house has got all the things that it needs. Make sure you get backup power, backup generators. Make sure that you get food and, perishable, non-perishable food items. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you have emergency contingency plans in place in case this weather gets really, really bad. You understand? Your health is the number one priority that you have. And the only way that you're going to make sure that you can take care of yourself and your family is you have to prepare. You understand? You have to be prepared and you have to be aware of what's going on and have some understanding of what's taking place in the world. You can't go through life, being in the truth. You cannot afford to go through life not being aware of what's going on in the world. You cannot not watch the news. You cannot not, take heed to what is being said and what is being discussed concerning major events that are transpiring. And this cold weather that we have on the approach is something that you definitely should be taking heed to and being aware of. Everybody understands? Let's keep reading. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 30, verse 14. And it says, better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution than a rich man that is afflicted in his body. You understand? Better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution. What does that mean? Strong and sound in your mind and your body. Having control over yourself. discipline, being able to move when you want to move and go where you want to go. You just need a sound body to do that. I just was talking to y'all about my knees. I'm too young for my knees to be hurting like they be hurting. So I know I gotta do something. I gotta work. I gotta, push through whatever I'm going through mentally and physically, and I gotta put the work in to make sure that I have a sound body. God forbid it's an emergency situation and I need to run, but haven't ran in 2 years. Yeah, that's now's not the time to run. Now is the time to fall and be hurt. I can't be falling and being hurt, and I got a woman and a young girl. You got to take care of your body. You understand? You got to train. You got to be disciplined. You got to get in the gym. You got to eat right. You got to put the right things in your body. Everybody understands? Keep reading Ecclesiastes 30 and 15. Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. There is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. Death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. You understand? This is for all the brothers and sisters who don't like taking medicine, don't like going to the doctor. You don't like taking medicine and don't like going to the doctor, but are dealing with health conditions that are crippling your life, taking away from your joy and your experience because you don't want to go to the doctor. Don't do that. Don't live a life in pain and live a life uncomfortable and live a life not able to do what you want to do because your body is ailing you, but you too proud to go to the doctor. A lot of people are stubborn, but they pass it off as trusting in God. I trust in the Lord. The Lord heals me. The Lord also made doctors. The Lord also made medicine. Sometimes people use their trust in God to really just do what they want to do. They use their faith in the Lord to be stubborn. And listen, if you want to be stubborn, no sweat. If your body's healthy, if you're feeling good, no sweat. But if you're out there suffering and going through horrible ailments and just refusing to get help because you think that getting help is Satan, you're just playing yourself. You're not trusting in God, and you're just being stubborn and doing what you want to do. And guess what? Nobody going to argue with you about that. Nobody going to fight with you. But the Bible is saying it is better to die than to live a life full of sickness and pain in your body. Which means what? Sickness and pain in your body is not what the Lord designed for you. Not how the Lord made you to be. So guess what? Maybe there's something you should be doing to get rid of that sickness. Something you should be doing to get rid of that pain. And it could be going to the doctor, having surgery, going through treatment. But the state that God designed for us is not one full of pain and sickness and misery. Everybody understand? Verse 18. It's Ecclesiastes 30 and 18. Delicates poured upon a mouth shut up, are as messes of meat set upon a grave. Listen to this. Delicates poured upon a mouth shut up are as messes of meat set upon a grave. Imagine you giving medicine and you giving things that will heal your body, but you close your mouth and refuse to taste it. It's like making a meal and then pouring it on a grave. The dead can't eat that meal. The dead can't benefit from that food. Well, neither can the sick person benefit from medicine if they won't open their mouth and take it. Your body hurting and you in ailing and you in pain, but you don't take medicine. All right, no problem. Then it can't help you then. All this good technology and this good medicine out here that could heal your pain and your joints, and you just don't want to take no medicine. All right, no sweat. Lord be with you. All right. Verse 19. What good does the offering unto an idol? For neither can it eat nor smell. So is he that is persecuted of the Lord. Meaning, the idol can't benefit at all from, sacrifices. Well, neither can the person who is persecuted of the Lord. You can't benefit. That pain in your body is persecution from the Lord. That sickness and that ailment is persecution from the Lord. Meaning, and don't think persecution from the Lord means because you did something wrong. It just means the Lord is the one that is in charge of it. Somebody you love and care about gets cancer, you get cancer. You have to know that the Lord did it. Now, did the Lord do it because he hates you? Did he do it because he's punishing you? Maybe the Lord is doing it because when you conquer cancer, everybody will know that the Lord was with you. Maybe the Lord gave you a sickness so that when you got healed, everybody would say, surely the Lord is with this person. You understand? Maybe you got cancer and got sick so that when you endured it and came out on the other end healthy and better and living a good life, someone else gets cancer, they could look at you and say, man, sister so-and-so, brother so-and-so did it, I'm going to do it too. Not all the times there's things that you go through about you. Not everything that you suffer is about your suffering. Sometimes the things that you go through is so that it'll help the next person to be able to get through it. Watching you endure and suffer and go through what you're going through is going to help the next brother or sister with their struggle. I think that I didn't think about it before. I was thinking about somebody else just now talking about that cancer, but I'm looking at myself on this screen with this eye, this patch on my eye, and it's, what I'm going through. It's not easy. It's difficult. There's a lot of mental and emotional and, things that I've been dealing with. But what if this wasn't about me? What if Miss Injury ain't even about me suffering or me doing something right or wrong? You understand? Maybe the Lord put me through this so that as people watch me go through it, the next brother could stand strong in his time of struggle. A sister could be like, man, I remember when Captain Soccer Wall lost his eye and had the eye patch with every outfit. Damn, he rolled with it. Well, let me roll with this thing that I'm dealing with. Let me roll with this trouble I'm facing. You understand? And understand this. I call and get counsel. I'm not Superman. It's not something I'm able to go through and deal with on my own and just super tough and super strong and super faithful. No, it's hard. And in times when things get hard, that's when you call and get counsel. You understand? Hell, this thing I'm going through has made me have to go get therapy. Every Wednesday, I go see an Edomite. I sit with an Edomite for an hour and talk about what I'm going through, talk about what I'm feeling and how this and that. And I've been doing this for about 3 months now. This devil has helped me tremendously. I'm talking about this therapy thing is wonderful for my life. I needed this 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Never in my life would I have gotten to sat with some devil and talked about my problems and my past and shame and fear and anxiety until I had this injury. What if the Lord put me through this so that I could become more of the man that he needed me to be? So that I could face certain demons that I wasn't willing to face before. Not all the time is something horrible happening to you because the Lord is trying to destroy you. Sometimes the Lord got to have something happen to you so that you can understand your purpose. So you can understand what it is that he requires of you, how serious he is about making sure that his will gets done. If the Lord's will to help someone else meant that I had to suffer, then let me suffer. If that was the deal that was offered to me, right? Let's say I did not know why what I'm going through happened. Say the Lord came to me before and said, listen, I want to help a brother or sister find their way to me. I want to prepare a brother to be able to suffer with dignity, with masculinity, and be a man going through something that is horrible and trying in his life. But the only way I can do it for that brother is if I make someone else have to go through it first. Would you be the man that would suffer so that I could teach another man how to suffer properly? I would say yes, 1,000 times out of 1,000. If the Lord came to me and said, I want to help brothers and sisters grow closer to me, but in order to do it, I need a man to suffer and to go through something horrible so that they can be inspired by it. Would you do that for me, Ak? Would you be the brother that would suffer and go through something horrible so I can inspire somebody else? I would say yes, 1,000 times. The fact that I never had that conversation with the Lord and he never offered it to me for me to accept it, does that mean that ain't what took place? No, that's absolutely what took place. Because I know that this was not done to punish me. This was not done to make me suffer. How do I know that? Because I'm not suffering. Because I haven't been punished. My life has gotten better in every way that I could imagine because of me losing my eye. And that sounds crazy. It sounds crazy to even say it. You understand? It sounds insane to just say that. My life has gotten better in every way because I got hurt. And I know the Lord did it. Not to punish me, not to, send me to an early grave, but to strengthen me, to make me better, to position me to be a better husband to my wife, to position me to be a better father to my daughter, to position me to be a better soldier for the truth and the work of the Lord, to position me to be a better teacher for you brothers and sisters that's tuning in. And if that's what was necessary for the Lord to get me to be the best that I needed to be, he could take an eye. If he would have gave me an opportunity, 10 months ago, I would have said, all right, sign me up. Whatever you need me to do, Lord. Why? Because I deserve worse. If the Lord wanted to punish me, he could have done much worse. He was very, very merciful and kind and loving. The way I got hurt to only lose an eye when I could have lost teeth and it's so much that could have happened. Come on, man. I can't complain. I have my health. I lost an eye, but I have my health. I can go to the gym. I can work out. I can use the slanted board to get my calves and my shins and my knees and my quads and my hamstrings right. I can build this body up because the Lord was merciful. Everybody understands. So like it, Ecclesiastes chapter 30, verse 20. He seeth with eyes and groaneth, as a eunuch that embraces a virgin and sigheth. That's crazy. This is a person that's suffering, right? A person that's being persecuted of the Lord is like someone that sees with his eyes and groans, as a eunuch that embraces a virgin and sighs. Imagine a man, get his hands on a sexy woman, a virgin, never been touched, and she want to give herself to him, but he's a eunuch. His penis don't work. And he just, it's like being cursed. It's like, why me? Somebody that sees and groans, and a man, a eunuch who get his hands on a virgin is like why me? Why do this to me? It's bad enough I'm a eunuch. Bad enough my penis don't work. He gonna give me his young, sexy broad that I know that I could, but I can't. That's someone who's being persecuted. That's a horror. A terror that no man should want to experience. It's like, yeah. The Bible crazy for that one. You understand? Keep reading. Ecclesiastes 30 and 21. Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel. Again, I got hurt in my mind. I don't know what's going on. Why this is happening? That's why you need to get counsel. I knew when I got hurt, I'm going to have to go see a therapist because I'm going to struggle coming to grips with this, accepting this, what it means for me going forward in my life. A lot of my anxiety and my fear that I was suffering when I first got injured had to do with the life that I was leading and the type of man that I was. But between going to see a therapist and getting counsel from the men of the Lord, the problem and the issue that I was mainly concerned about has been taken away. And now all I got to do is just adjust to life now. The main worry and concern, the main thing that was troubling me in the back of my mind is not even an issue no more. Why? Because I didn't allow myself to try and work through it. I didn't allow myself to try and figure it out. I went and got help. You cannot be ashamed or afraid of getting help. I don't care what it is. Some of you out there cannot manage money. You horrible with money. Your whole life never been able to, you don't know how to budget, don't know how to spend money the right way. You don't know how to, You make money, you get money and you spend it. You think that's how money works. And you don't know what to do. You can't manage a household. You can't, none of that. Man, you better call and get some help. You better call and get some counsel. Let it be known, Salakia, sir, I am not good with money, man. I get money and fuck it off. I borrow from everybody, can't pay nobody back, and I just been my whole life robbing Peter to pay Paul. And now I can't keep living like that. Get some help. You understand? There's nothing to be ashamed of until shame hits you. What does that mean? You won't call and get counsel because you're ashamed of something. That thing that you're ashamed of, that you're hiding, it's going to come and be the reason you got to go to counsel. It's going to come and be the reason why you get, your rank taken. It's going to come and be the reason why you get shamed before the nation. Don't wait before the shame comes and hits you. Get out in front of it and say, hey, man, I got a problem. I need some help. Or I'm struggling with something that I know I shouldn't struggle with, but I can't break free from it. Get the help you need. That's what counsel's there for. Shame is like fear. You're afraid that somebody's going to judge you or look at you sideways. Nigga, what does it matter if you get help? Why do you care if this man knows about you not being able to manage money or looks at you like, yeah, that nigga couldn't even keep his bills paid? If you get help to not have the money problem no more, or if after getting the help your bills is paid, shame is like depression. It's a goddamn lie. It's a pink elephant in the room. Now you can let the pink elephant stop you from getting help, or you can feel the shame when everybody's looking at you and asking you why, and your answer is, I just don't know. I just ain't never. You're gonna have to answer for it either way. Get out in front of it and get the help you need so that you don't suffer the shame of now somebody having to come in an emergency situation and address your F up. Everybody understands. Ecclesiastes chapter 30, verse 22. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. Love thine own soul and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee, for sorrow has killed many, and there is no profit therein. Envy and wrath shorten the life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time. A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. Everybody understands? Everybody understands. I'm going to read those last 4 verses one more time. It's Ecclesiastes 30 and 22. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. What does it mean? The gladness of the heart is the life of a man. The gladness of the heart is like being in good spirits. You understand? Knowing and understanding that everything is working out the way it's supposed to. I'm right where I need to be, man. Life is good, man. I'm blessed. That's the joyfulness of the heart. The joyfulness of the heart isn't, oh, man, I'm so rich and I'm so paid. And the joyfulness of the heart is not partying all the time and having all the free time. Sometimes the joyfulness of the heart is watching your kids grow up. Knowing that you're doing the right things that you're supposed to do. Knowing that you're getting better and getting stronger, you're getting counsel, and you're not living in some fantasy world where everything is all right when everything around you is crashing and burning. The joyfulness of the heart comes from living in your purpose, man, knowing that you're doing what you're supposed to do. And if you live your life that way, if you are blessed and able to live your life that way, you're going to live a long life. You understand? And the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. The longer you're able to stay in that space, the more your life is prolonged. The more you're able to live knowing that you're doing what you're supposed to do, that's the longer your life will be extended. Everybody understand? Love thine own soul and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee. What does that mean? Love the life that you live in. Love the portion that the Lord has given you. Don't sit around with a bunch of woulda, coulda, shouldas and looking at other people's lives and comparing your life and wishing you had this and wishing you had that. Nah, man, love your own soul. Comfort your heart. Remove sorrow far from thee. As I've been going through what I've been going through, my rib will tell you, man, I say all the time, I thank the Lord for my problems, because there's other brothers and sisters who have problems that I could not imagine having. What I'm going through is hard, it's difficult. Man, but I would not trade my problem for nobody else's. And I mean that. I love the life the Lord gave me, and I love the suffering and the hardship and the difficulty that I have to face. I would not trade it for anybody else's. You understand? And there's some of you living a wonderful life, man. Good lives. Ain't better than mine. I don't want your life. I'm thankful for the one that I have. And that's how you put away sorrow from you. You understand? Are there things going on that you can sit around and be upset about, that you can sit around and lament? Yeah, man, but damn. Look at what you've been through. Look at how far you've come. Look at where you are right now in the midst of all you going through. You still got your health. You still got the knowledge of the Lord. You still got brothers and sisters. Man, your life is great. There's people you know right now who, if they could trade places with you, they would do it, man. They would do it. Think of all the people you know whose lives would be infinitely better if they knew the truth, if they accepted the Lord. Some of you sitting at home and you broke right now. You money, the bills are paid, but you ain't got no money to do nothing. Guess what? You ain't got to worry about Christmas in 4 weeks. There's people that you know in the same boat that you in right now. Broke as hell. Bills, this was the third. You waiting for Thursday to pay your rent. I'm waiting for Thursday to pay my rent. I'm waiting for tomorrow for the check to hit so I can go pay the rent. And then there's no money for a week. My wife better not say nothing to me about nothing for another week. Better make whatever's in that refrigerator stretch till next Monday, because I got to pay the rent. And that's it. That's all I got. Now, I could sit and say, be sad about, oh, man, I just paid the rent. I ain't got no money. Or I could consider the person who's in the same position and they got to worry about Christmas in 3 weeks. Like, how they going to get these kids these toys? How they going to get these kids these things? How they going to get this tree? How they going to get... I ain't got to worry about that. Man, I thank the Lord for my life and my struggles. I could sit around and be sad, but there's somebody who's worrying about Christmas. That's even sadder. You understand? Like, be thankful for the life that you've been given. Be thankful for your portion. Be thankful for what the Lord said you deserved and you earned, and then make the most of it, man. Do it big with what you got. What's crazy is in my head, the song, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, came into mind, and I was getting ready to sing it, but that's not who I am. I'm not going to sing in this class. But you got to be able. J. Cole got a song called "Love Yours." It's about loving. There's no such thing as a life that's better than yours, and that's a real sentiment, man. You understand? And you got to find a way to be happy and content with what it is the Lord has given you. All right, reading on in Ecclesiastes 30 and 23. For sorrow has killed many, and there is no profit therein. There's so many people that have allowed stress and grief and sadness drive them to death, man. The brothers and sisters out there, that's what a lot of drug addiction is about. A lot of drug addiction is about sadness and sorrow that you could never let go of. Regrets and, wishing you would have did this and wishing you would have did that. You got to let that shit, you got to let that go. The time for that is past. But you have another day on this earth, man. You still breathing, and the Lord is letting the, air come into your lungs and your heart pump blood. You can get it right. You can do better. You can let that thing in the past go, and now you can start from right now and decide that going forward, I'm going to get it right. I'm going to do it the way it's supposed to be done. Everybody understands. Verse 24, envy and wrath shorten life. Being jealous, being angry at somebody over something they did, holding grudges, shortens your life. And it was crazy, man. Church has convinced so many of us, of our people, that they can't be angry at their oppressor. Like, And they think that being angry about oppression and about the white man and all the horrible things that they've done, that is what will shorten their life. That is what will make them miserable. When that's not what the Bible's talking about. The Bible is talking about, that grudge you get with your mother or your cousin that did something to you. So many cats I knew in the world, man, we was tight and close and had friendships that, since kindergarten ruined because a nigga was jealous. A nigga got mad about something and didn't want to let it go, didn't want to go talk to a brother about it. They end up, beefing over something stupid. That's what the Lord is talking about. It's talking about somebody you should love and be joined together with. You jealous and fighting and arguing and beefing, that'll shorten your life. You know what I'm saying? And carefulness bringeth age before the time. Being so full of care, so worried about every goddamn thing. Being full of anxiety and a lot of worry and stress. You understand? It'll bring age before the time. You go look at a cat that's been in the streets his whole life. I knew cats I grew up with, man, was in the streets, man, paranoid. Always looking over their shoulder, always worried about this and that. That's the lifestyle in the streets. You can't be at rest. You can't be at ease. You can't be at peace. But guess what? You go back and you look at some of them cats. Like I said, I'm getting close to 40. It's cats I know that been in the streets the whole time, man, body broken down. Looking old as hell, stressed out, head full of gray hair, because that's their lifestyle. They carefulness, full of worry and stress and anxiety, because they wouldn't allow themselves to have peace. You only find peace in serving the Lord. You understand? Ecclesiastes 30, verse 25. A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. Everybody understands? A careful and good heart will have care of his meat and his diet. Meaning what? When you're somebody that's living your full life, and guess what? You're careful and mindful about what you eat, about what you put in your body. It's part of taking care of your health. It's part of making sure that you sustain this life and keep it going. You understand? Health is very important. Taking care of yourself is very important. Getting counsel, getting help with the things that you're struggling with is very important. And you cannot live a life of peace and service of the Lord without coming to grips with those things. The Most High designed life for us to need one another, to need to be able to get help, to need to face certain realities and to come to grips with things that are difficult for us to come to grips with. And only through serving the Lord and having faith and trust in him will you be able to benefit from the truth, benefit from the prophets and the priests of God that are in your life in the ISUPK. God forbid you come into the truth, man, and have access to these men of the Lord, and you live your whole life being too proud to get help. You live your whole life in the truth, watching these brothers and learning from them online and never calling and saying, I'm struggling, I need some help. I thank the Most High that he didn't allow me to maintain my pride too much that I never got help, that I never got counsel. And I'm saying this to you, brothers and sisters, as a man that spent 15 years in the truth, refusing to get certain counsels, refusing to talk about certain things. It wasn't until the Lord took this eye that I had to face the reality. I had to face myself and say, you know what? You're being real silly. You're being real prideful. You're being stupid. It wasn't until I had my daughter that I had to face that, you know what? Some things are bigger than me, than what I want. It wasn't until the Lord gave me this woman that I got in my life that I was able to really examine myself and say, yeah, you really on some bullshit. It took a woman that loved me enough to, talk to me and listen to my bullshit and try to understand me. And then after hearing everything and listening to all I had to say, still look at me and say, that don't even make sense. I'm looking at her like, shut up. You made it don't make sense. It made perfect sense. Then I had to sit and in my mind later on be like, yeah, nah, she right out. You on some bullshit. Even with that, I wouldn't, pride is in the way. Pride make you feel like, I got this, I'm this and that. Nah, the Lord had to take an eye for me to sit down and say, you know what, I can't do this no more. I got to be better. I got to get help. I got to accept, I got to confess my faults and it's things that I'm benefiting from now that I could have benefited from 15 years ago if I would have just let the Lord lead and guide me. You understand? Life is too short for us to be wasting time like that. Whatever you're struggling with and battling with, man, get over it. Whatever shame or fear you have, face it now. You're going to have to face it at some point. Let it be on your terms. Don't let it be on the Lord's terms. You understand? Everything that we need in order to become who the Lord called us to be is available to us right now. In this time, don't let that go to waste. Don't let that pass us by. Let's take control of our lives right now and fully commit and dedicate ourselves to being who the Lord called us to be. Only way you're going to be able to do that is if you commit to getting counsel, commit to getting help, commit to accepting that the Lord didn't design you to be in this thing all by yourself. And with that, clap it up. With the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. Since 1969, we've been teaching so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. In the year 2025, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on this earth. You brothers and sisters got family, loved ones, people you care about in Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas. Get them in contact with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We are in the days and the times where, we're going to quickly have to acknowledge that we are all we got. Brotherhood and sisterhood is what is going to preserve us in these days and our faith and our trust in the Lord. With that, Israel, we'll close out the class. I'll see